old hospitals, prisons, asylums, jails. In the decades that they've been empty and neglected, the ravages of time and nature turn them into something different. They take on, to me, a new beauty. It's fleeting because it's always changing. I grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts. There were lots of empty buildings, the old mills. Sometimes we would, sneak in a door here and there and look around, and it always felt like a treat. It was like some mysterious world that we didn't really know what used to go on in them. And now they were these big empty spaces. I had never picked up a camera really as a kid, not even in high school. I just didn't really explore photography till I got into college. I realized after one semester that I liked it an awful lot. I liked the documentary style photography, the ability to take photographs that could tell stories. When I started doing that, I quickly found that I enjoyed engaging with and photographing homeless people to document who they are and maybe bring a little dignity to their lives. The first things that I shot that were kind of abandoned was walking in Wampatuck and photographing the old ruins of the ammunition depot annex that was adjacent to Wampatuck. There was an abandoned auto body shop on 3A that I photographed. The old Brown's General Store, I photographed that. So I would find all these little local places around town and then post on Instagram. From there, my next step was probably to join the South Shore Art Center and to show my work in the art festival. The other artists are inspirational. They will talk to you honestly about your work. Patrice May, the director there, has been very supportive and has given me lots of opportunities to show my work and to have access to competitions and galleries and exhibits. So after being a member there for a few years again, I decided to give back by teaching there. So I will teach different types of photography classes. Teach them how to use their equipment and how to use their eyes and their creative vision to tell their own stories. When I first started doing this, graffiti didn't bother me all that much. If a location was really trashed and had been vandalized, I would try to work with what was there. And I look back now at some of those old photos that I took 10 years ago, and they're not very good because I hadn't learned how to tell the story yet. Show what it looks like now in its state of decay, but still possess that former life where people can look at it and wonder, wow, what used to happen there? But sometimes I realize what I like personally doesn't always make for the best photograph. I came across a late 1950s Packard and I actually took a couple of photographs that I really liked. I composed in a way that was very graphic and I entered it into a number of different competitions. It struck out everywhere. So I realized that though I liked the photo for the experience of finding the car and the way I photographed it, it didn't tell a story. On the other hand, I was at an old resort where I found a bed that had this sheet or curtain draped there on the window, and it was a very windy, hot windy day. So I photographed at a very, very slow shutter speed. So the bed was very still, yet the drape was very active and took on this kind of ghostly presence in the photo. Pretty much everywhere I've entered that, it's won something, or at least made it into a juried competition. These places tell stories, but it's not a universal story. Someone may look at a photograph and think, wow, how sad, look at what happened. This looks like it was a beautiful place. Whereas someone else may look at it and say, that must have been a wonderful place to stay. Imagine all the people who had an amazing experience being there. A lot of times I wish that after I took a photo, I had amnesia and I was able to just look at it for the photo that I took and not the memory that I had of what it took to take the photo. because then I would be able to see it in a whole different way. But I can't separate the experience of taking the photo from the story the photo potentially tells.
How do you find these places?
Oh, that's the question that is most often asked. And if I told you, I'd have to kill you. But no, seriously, it's a number of different ways. One of my favorite things to do is to go on Google Maps and look at satellite view. And usually you see it with cracked pavement in parking lots or roofs that look pretty shoddy. There's also networking, getting to know other people, sharing information with one another for where good locations are and how to access them and how to photograph them. Sometimes, it's not always permissible to get into these places, so it takes a little bit of sneakiness. I'm not going there to harm them, just going there to photograph them. It may be considered trespassing in some instances, but my motto is, it's better to beg for forgiveness than try to seek permission. I'm thankful that the Cohasset community has embraced my work as much as they have. It took me a long time to get up the courage to say, I want to join the Art Center and enter something into a competition for the Arts Festival or for one of their open juried competitions. I didn't think anyone would like the subject matter that I was photographing. But when I finally got up the courage to do it, oh my gosh, I was welcomed with open arms. I couldn't believe I had waited as long as I did. There's going to be an audience out there. There are going to be artists out there who want to encourage you. There's going to be lots of great feedback and learning that you'll be exposed to. So it's all good. It's all good. As time goes by, more of these places get erased forever. They get demolished. They get converted into apartments. They change it to something where there's no longer anything there to photograph. It will go from being photos of decayed places to being a historic record of places that aren't around anymore.